Hey, ADNC family. I hope all is well. Emma Ansah here, coming to you live from Canada. And it's Sunday. It's Sunday. Thank you so much for joining me on a Sunday. You could be doing any number of things, but you chose to join me. So I appreciate you much. Thank you much. Hello, 23 Archer 28. Hope you are well. Thank you for joining me. And we're going to talk about ICE. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And unless you've been living under a rock, you see that ICE is out here on these streets, Minnesota and other parts of the world, just doing what they do and what they're tasked to do, which is what? Enforce immigration. However, there's been some wonky things going on in between. And I want to talk about a Caribbean woman who is, when I say mad, I mean big mad at ICE because her relative was apparently arrested. So she confronted the ICE agents. So we'll watch the video and then we'll go into where we're at now with ICE and what's going on, with Tom Homan stepping in now. And we'll even talk about ICE in Canada. What are they doing here? So let's watch this video and then we'll talk some more.
That's why you're a bunch of f***ers. I wish you would. I wish the f*** all a bunch of big pussies. Don't tell me calm down. Because we don't like none of you.
You okay?
No, how can I be okay? You okay? Are you okay?
Are you okay?
I look like I'm okay? Don't come up in my face here because I hit hard.
Try it.
I wish you would.
Try it.
You try me and see what the fuck. All of us angry out here. So don't think it's y'all alone.
Get out of here.
Who you telling get out of here? Why you telling me get out of here? You asked me a question and I'm answering you.
Get out of here. Man.
Oh, stupid ass. That's why you gotta hide your face.
You wanna go to jail?
You call me my mother, I can tell you anything.
You wanna go to jail?
What you wanna hit me? Hit me, bitch. You ain't got me. Nobody's scared of you. Come. I got rings on, bitch. So me and you gonna fight you. That's why your kids them don't like you and your wife is you. That's why you gotta hide your face. My face ain't hidden. I'm American, you stupid. You can take me too high. I'm sure in the Zodiac Press. You know what to do? Tell them, no. You want me? All of you. Put that on the news. Let Trump see it.
She said, put that on the news and let Trump see it. So her name is Sherlyn. Her name is Sherlyn. And as I said, she was really, really angry because what had happened was, well, first of all, this took place at a New York City federal immigration courthouse. And her relative was given a protective order. But right after that, ICE arrested him. So that's why she's up there like that. And, at the end of the day, she does share the sentiment of a lot of people because, like I said, ICE is there to enforce immigration, right? However, I do know reports have said that there's at least 170 legal immigrants that have been detained or arrested and what have you. So it's become a little bit murky. It's become a little bit murky, and a lot of people are angry. A lot of people are afraid. So in this case, a lot of people are asking, well, why would her relative be arrested if the judge granted protective order? So we have to talk about what protective order is, because there are different types of protective order. So I took some notes. I did some research. I took some notes. So the first protective order is a staying removal, right? So that's the one where they can't be removed, they can't be detained. So ICE agents can't turn around and arrest them after the fact or detain them or deport them or any of those things. So in this case, we don't know what kind of protective order the judge gave her. But if ICE was able to arrest him right after a protective order was given, then maybe he falls under the protective order that only blocks deportation. So if that's the protective order that he was given, then ICE does have, the authorization to detain. They can't deport, but they can detain. So it says, unless the order explicitly prohibits arrest. So we're not sure where it fell, but again, I would imagine that if they were able to arrest him, then he probably falls under the protective order that only prevents deportation. So, in any event, that is really, kind of the culture or sort of the temperature that's going on now in the United States with ICE agents. And it's not boding well for a lot of people. She's one of them. And, I was looking at the comments underneath this video, and a lot of people are cheering her on. And I would imagine maybe it's people in the United States that either are legal or illegal, I don't know, but either way people are like, you're my hero. You're basically saying the quiet thing out loud to these ICE agents. What I will say is, look, I get the anger and all that, but that reaction is not the best approach at all, okay? If your relative has been taken in or whatever, just do go through all the proper channels that you have to go through. But standing there, cussing them off, telling them that what did she say? Your family hates you and your wife is fula lying on you and all of that other stuff. It's like, it's just like that. That does not help your cause at all. It just doesn't. Okay, it really doesn't. You said you're not afraid because you're a citizen. Well, like I said, at least 170. And they said that's actually a thin number of people that are citizens or are there legal have been arrested. So, or detained. So, but that's great. Don't be afraid if you're a citizen. There really shouldn't be any reason to be afraid. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Tom Homan, who is now, taking the reins. The torch has been passed off to him. And I just wanted to play a couple of videos of him talking about drawing down on 700 agents in Minnesota and what that means and a few other things. So let's take a look at what he had to say and we'll discuss further.
Once effective immediately, we will draw down 700 people effective today. 700 law enforcement personnel. We have also fully integrated CBP personnel into the ICRO team structure under one unified chain of command. Not two chains of command, there'd be one chain of command here. Any large enforcement operation I've ever been involved with, there's one chain of command, and that's where we're moving forward. During my press conference last week, I announced that moving forward, ICE will be conducting targeted immigration enforcement operations, like ICE has traditionally done for decades, based on reasonable suspicion to question and detain. ICE will conduct these operations and transnational criminal organization investigations with a focus on national security and public safety. I want to be clear. Just because you prioritize public safety threats don't mean we forget about everybody else. We will continue to enforce the immigration laws in this country.
All right. So it looks like they're going to be going down by at least 700 agents, and it's only going to be one chain of command. So it sounds to me like this is what I think. Okay. This is just my humble opinion. Okay. When that lady and that man, Alex Preddy and Renee Good, were unalived, that's when we start to see all of this happening. Okay. There have been other atrocities that were done to our people. Okay. People that look like us. And it wasn't ramped up like this. But once that lady and that man were unalived, and don't get me wrong, I'm not, that's a tragedy. That should not have happened. But I'm just saying, like, I noticed that things really started to be paid attention when that happened. And so now we're starting to look at and started to dial back on things, and Tom Homan has stepped in now, and that other man, the name escapes me right now, but the chain of command that was there before has been let go, relieved of his duties, and I'm like looking at it, I'm side-eyeing, and I'm like, where was all this outrage when so many other things that were going wrong and done wrong to us? Just saying. Let's hear what else Tom Homan has to say.
ICE and CBP officers have performed their duties in a challenging environment under tremendous circumstances, but they're trying to do it with professionalism. If they don't, they'll be dealt with. Like any other federal agency, we have standards of conduct.
Are you talking about targeting people whose crime is coming to this country, or is it a more specific definition now?
All operations will be targeted, but the prioritization are going to be criminal aliens, public safety threats, and national security threats. If the message we send is you can enter this country illegally, it's a crime, don't worry about it. You can have your due process, show up in court, not show up in court, get ordered moved, don't worry about it. Unless you commit a serious crime, you're good to go. If that's the message we send to the world, you're never going to fix this problem.
So he's saying it's going to be a targeted approach now. And their main focal point is what exactly ICE agents are tasked to do, which is enforce immigration. So he's here to clean up the mess that's been going on. But once again, it only really became a mess when it came down to that lady and that man. I'm just saying. So there are 7,000 ICE agents scattered across the world, and their focus is primarily on cross border crime. So apparently, there are ICE offices in 5 cities in Canada: Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal. Who knew? So, and these agents are responsible, or in these offices, they didn't say, they have not divulged exactly how many ICE agents are in those cities, but they have offices, and they're tasked to, as I said, they're tasked to work on cross border crime. So they're not carrying guns, and they're not arresting people, but they are here. They're here. And so a lot of Canadians are like, what is going on? Why do we have ICE offices here? Why do we have ICE agents here? So I just wanted to just put that out there to say that's what they're here to do. As far as enforcing immigration, that's up to the CBSA, which is the Canada Border Services Agency, and the officers there. They're doing a lot of the same stuff that ICE is doing in the United States, with the difference being not as aggressive, but they're going to businesses, and they're tracking down illegal employees and people that are here illegally. The only problem is here in Canada, they're having a hard time finding a lot of people, and there are a lot of people that have committed criminal activity that they can't find. So we definitely need a little bit of an uptick in the ICE. So, Kellen, you said who has arrested over 70,000 people? ICE? I'm assuming you're saying ICE because, we have offices here, but they're not doing that here in Canada. But in any event, I do think it's super important that Black people, whether you are a Black American or you're a Caribbean or whatever you are living in the United States, I do think it's very important that you go through the right channels. And also, like I said, what this lady did here, that's not the approach. Okay, so Kellen, you said ICE, but are these people that were arrested, were they all illegal immigrants? Or some of them arrested by mistake? Because from what I see here is there have been some errors with ICE. And as I said, they said at least they found more than 170 U.S. citizens have been held by immigration agents in recent years. So they said at least, so there's more. So I'm just curious, because I'm pretty sure if they have arrested over 70,000 people, and if we're seeing that some of these people that have been arrested or detained are not actually illegal, then there might be some gaps and some slippage going on here, right? Just saying. So, we need to look at that. But as I'm saying, going back to, illegal, anybody that's staying illegally. So you said not all illegal, and some citizens are green card holders. You see, so this goes back to what I was saying earlier, which is that, ICE is tasked to enforce immigration, but they're not always doing it the right way. So that is why people like this lady, her name is Sherlyn, as I said, is so irate. And there are a lot of people that are irate and afraid. And this is the reaction that you're getting from a lot of them. My point is that not everybody that's in America is there illegally. And it's become very messy, and it's become a sea of gray, and it's causing a lot of trauma and problems for a lot of people. Everybody wants to paint a broad brush because Donald Trump said all Somalis are garbage and they're this and they're that and their country's garbage and we need to get them out of here. And then all of a sudden, all Somali people are garbage, and then everybody's a criminal. When, excuse me, but a lot of the criminals that are in America do not look like us. And a lot of criminals that are committing heinous crimes do not look like us. And by the way, not every illegal immigrant looks like us, but that's the only ones we're hearing about all the time, right? So we got to look at that. And we have to think about that. And that is why we have so many people out here that are in this state and behaving this way. So, that's the whole point. And then, people are always saying, "Oh, get them all out of here. We want them all gone." We can't say that every single immigrant that's in the United States, and that goes for Canada too, are all up to no good. There are a lot that have made indelible contributions to the country. Some of them, are homegrown, born, raised. Some of them have their papers, have their status, have all of that stuff. Law-abiding citizens, working, successful, have babies, all of that stuff. But when you hear a president that speaks the way he speaks, that is what becomes a problem. And I say this all the time. That president, his words have weight. And he throws a lot of red meat to his base. Dog whistles left, right, and center. Do you guys remember when he was talking about Haitians eating cats and pets and all this stuff? And then it kind of just took a life of its own? Remember when he was calling countries like Africa and, continents like Africa and other countries, S-hole countries, and that took weight? Every time he says something like that, he blows his dog whistle, then it becomes a whole thing. He's been attacking Ilhan Omar. She's not done. What has she done? All of these things. And by the way, if you want to go back and look at the live stream I did with Brother Theo, we were talking about who the mastermind was on this Somali fraud. Didn't look like the Somalis. And I'm not saying that, she held a gun to their head because they were involved. But my point is that all of these talking points, it affects people that actually should not even be affected by it, or should not even be detained, or should not even be arrested. We just have to get to a place where we're looking at people and being and having humanity, right? And not being blind and not understanding and educating yourself on exactly what their status is. Just running around here, just all wiling out and arresting people and detaining people. When I see a 5-year-old with a blue bunny hat being detained, when you see a woman running who's a DoorDash delivery person and she's running into her customer's house for fear, this is not how it should be. It's not. If you're there to enforce immigration, then do that. Enforce immigration and focus on those that need to go. Because don't get me wrong, because we're going through the same thing here. There are a lot, okay, of illegal immigrants that are lost. There are a lot of illegal immigrants that are committing crimes that can't be found. Those are the ones that need to leave the country. I have no issue with that. But what's going on now is out of control. And this is why we got Tom. By the way, he's kind of scary to me. That's just me. But yeah, he's back on the job. So it'll be interesting to see what changes. It'll be very, very interesting to see what changes. Hey, Teresa, how are you? Thank you, 23 Archer. Um, for joining. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if things really do get cleaned up, and what does that mean when you withdraw 700 from Minnesota? If the temperature starts to go down, because a lot of this bleeds onto the skin of Canada, and it's kind of disheartening. I was just talking to Brother Kellen the other day, and I'm just talking about how it used to be back in the day when a Black American was coming here, celebrity or whatever. I mean, Canada would like roll out the red carpet, and there would be so much funding throwing around to be able to, host them being here. And now we're just getting a lot of no, we're not interested in doing anything that has to do with Americans. There's a hate on, there's a tariff tit for tat, a tariff war, all of these things, trade wars, and Donald Trump every other day is saying, well, we're gonna up the tariff on Canada, and trolling us, 51st state. All of these things is preventing Canadians also from going across the border. They don't want to do that because they don't want to go through all of this stuff that they're saying we're going to have to go through because of what your president has said. So all of these things, as I said, it affects Canada as a ripple effect. And it's really disheartening. We just need to get back to a place where we're treating people humanely, especially because the folks are treated differently. Their reality is not ours. And we need to get back to a place where we are treated right. So you're saying, Layla, my thing is how would you do it? You have people that sorry, it just went up. Well, people that won't leave. So how do you get them out? Well, they have the process, right? So they and again, I'm saying I don't dispute the ones who need to go, because as I said, we're going through the same thing here, trying to find these people who have there's over at least over 30,000 people in queue right now that they cannot find. And that is problematic, right? And then there's a little over 400 people that have commit criminal activity that they can't find. So although they're deporting right now 400 people a week, there's still a bunch of people they can't find and a bunch of people they're letting in. So I get it. And so I'm not opposed to that, but they have a process. They do. They have a process. So follow the process. But when you see them just out here just taking anybody, then that's not following the process, right? So you're saying there's no such thing as illegal immigrants only in America. I mean, there are people that are in the country that are not, they haven't gone through the right process, or their papers aren't intact, or their visas have expired, or they were on temporary protective status and that's been scrapped. So they, and then so that becomes, you fall in that bracket, right? So you said arrest that ungrateful foreigner. Well, she mentions at the end that she is an American citizen, so her papers are probably intact. But did you hear that ICE agent saying, "You want to go to jail? You want to go to jail? Why?" She's voicing her opinions, maybe not in the nicest way, but that doesn't mean jail. But do you see how they're always touting this stuff around? So she said she's an American citizen. She didn't say she is American. She said she's an American citizen. She's Caribbean, but she is an American citizen. Just like people will come from other countries to Canada and they get their citizenship. It is a thing. So, um but yeah, Layla, to me is again, that's what they're here to do. Just like here, that's what they're here to do. The CBSA, they're here to do that. So I'm not opposed to it, because here too, as I said, there's plenty running around doing horrible things, heinous crimes. So I am 100% on board with it. I just think we have to make sure that we balance it, and there needs to be fairness here. But I will say this again, Sherlyn, Sister Sherlyn, that's not the way to do it. Please don't do that. Do not do that. Okay. These people are already over the top. So you don't want to cause any more trouble for yourself or even your relative that you're mad about. That's just not the right approach. It's kind of tacky. But I at the same time I kind of understand the sort of the anger, right? So that's what I wanted to talk to y'all about. Just wanted to share that, and she's not the only one that acts this way. We see it on the news, we see it in the streets. People are mad, people are angry, people are afraid, people are hurt, and we just need to bring all of this down. We need to bring all of this down, and just do things the right way. Do it the right way. That's all I'm saying. You know, I just long for the days where people are just treated humanely and just following the processes and not skimming off the top and just harming people or unaliving people. It's just exactly the three Drail 19. Come to the country legally, follow the right process. And I get it. There are a lot of people who, want to leave their country for various reasons. Maybe it's out of fear for their lives. Maybe it's, they just feel like it's a better opportunity for them. Maybe they're, have a skilled trade that they want to go to North America to practice. You just follow the process. And yes, it's not easy. Yeah, sometimes you could be denied. If your stuff is expiring, do go through the right process to renew. Just do everything the right way. That's all. That's all. And this can definitely limit all of this that's going on. But don't leave your country and come here, be disrespectful, be criminals, doing all this stuff. And uh, it's just exhausting. It's exhausting and it's disheartening. So stop it. Stop it. That's all I have to say. Just stop. Anyhow, family, that's what I came on to talk about. I hope you all have a better rest of today and the weekend. It's Sunday. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. Before I let you all go, I just want to remind everybody to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. If you have not done so already, head over to your Google or Apple store and download the app. It's a worthwhile investment. It is something that's created by us for us. And there's exclusive content, really great content. There's going to be a really, I'm sure you've heard Brother Phil say, a whole overhaul of the app. It's beautiful. It's going to be beautiful, more user friendly, a great user interface, all of that. So definitely you want to get it. So if you haven't downloaded it already, please make sure you do so. And to those who have downloaded, we thank you much. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate your support. Also, check out what everybody else, all the other journalists on this channel are reporting on. Everybody's crushing it. Support everybody. Watch what everybody's got going on. They're bringing news from places like Kenya and Nigeria and South Africa, and whether or not you subscribe to Unity, this is called the African Diaspora News Channel, and we are covering the diaspora, and we are all unified, whether you want to believe it or not. And, all of our lives matter. And the social injustice is uniform across the globe, okay? Because we all have this complexion. So it doesn't matter where we come from. We all have this complexion. So we're all treated, when we are being treated in an inhumane manner, it's all based on this color. So, when we're reporting on what's going on in the world, me in Canada and other parts of the diaspora, check out what everybody's saying. Everybody's bringing some great news and education. So make sure that you support by downloading the app, support by watching what everybody else has going on. You are most welcome, Teresa. Appreciate you. very, very much. You know, you're always here, and I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody else that was watching. I appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Keep it safe. Stay warm to those that are living in those cold places like me. And I shall see you on the next one. Bye.